Hello.
Then. Now.
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello. We are here with episode number 170 of the TEW9 Challenge Run. We're here for Bad Blood, June 21st, 2025. And yeah, I've got last year's Bad Blood results up here, and that sure was a show. That main event that I'm still angry about a year later. True. Anyway, tonight's show we only have 8 matches. I say only have 8 matches. I guess for a tri-branded pay-per-view that technically isn't a lot, because I do normally go for 10. But or do I? No, I think it is normally 8, but we haven't got a pre-show match either. I just forgot to do one this time. My bad. But yeah, our main event, the headline attraction of the show, Hell in a Cell. It's coming to an end. Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae, tonight in Cleveland. Plus, Chad Gable versus LA Knight for the WWE Championship. Sami Zayn versus Kofi Kingston for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jacob Fatu versus Brody King for the ECW title. IYO SKY versus Nova Nebula for the Women's World title. Florence versus Tatum Paxley for the ECW Women's title. The 4-way tag match for the Women's Tag Team titles, with Bianca and Jakara against Mariah May and Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte and Ariana Grace against the New Millennium. And then a World Tag Team Championship match with Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes against Fraxium. So without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Hype video, going over some of our key matches tonight, the WWE Championship match, the Women's World title match, Hell in a Cell, all of it. Hell is coming to Cleveland. 20,000 people in this arena right now. And we are kicking things off with the Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Some big-time hitters in this match, including, all of Raw's Women's Champions are in this match. Bianca and Chikara, Tiffany and Mariah, Cora and Roxy, and then Charlotte and Ariana too. AE2, sure. AE2 feels like a good balance between, the highest rated performers of each team and the lowest, so that's fine. Bianca Belair gets a 96, so yeah, there you go. But, it's not enough. All of these teams, I guess there's too many egos in the ring, specifically noting that there's a lot of issues in this match between Tiffany and Charlotte. They start, getting really tense and stuff, yeah. But in the end, Roxy Perez pinned Dakara Jackson with the Pop Rocks in 15-23 to make defense number 12 of the Women's Tag Team Championships. Long may they reign. 63 for Chikara, 96 for Bianca, 72 for Ariana, 79 for Charlotte, 68 for Mariah, 85 for Tiffany, 85 for Cora, 86 for Roxy. So I guess, yeah, in the law of averages, as tag teams, they are the best team in the match, because, Bianca had to carry Chikara. But, yes, and still, your longest reigning and current Women's Tag Team Champions, Cora Jade, Roxy Perez of the New Millennium. Then cut backstage. Kofi's getting ready for his match, and he bumps into Xavier Woods. What's going to tell you feeling tonight, Kof? And he goes, man, I've been doing this for like 20 years, and I thought that all of my butterflies had ever gone out of me. But turns out that's not the case, because tonight I'm nervous, Woods. And he goes, it's obvious, Kofi, this is your time to reclaim everything. Reclaim it all. And tonight, you are going to bring that World Championship back to the New Day. And don't forget who guided you there. And he goes, yeah, having you and E at ringside with me again, just like old times. He goes, whoa. Griffey goes, what? He goes, E's not going to make it tonight. He goes, what? Oh, Griffey goes, what? How come? He goes, let's say in terms of what we need to do tonight, I'm not sure E should be part of our plans. Because, man, what you saying? E has to be out there. He goes, look, I'll tell E that we don't want him out there because he's too hot-headed, okay? E, he doesn't see things my way, and we've established which way works, Kof. It's tough love, but we need E to get his act together. And then Woods walks off, and Kofi's like, oh, what the fuck? I want E out there. 89, let's go. This is why I made this, well, this and another reason. But I knew this would be great. Just two big meaty men hitting each other really hard. Brody King, Jacob Fatu, they have the match that you'd expect from Brody King and Jacob Fatu. You know, Meat Chance. You know, Meat Mountain was on Monday, but it's continued here tonight on Bad Blood on the ECW end. But Jacob Fatu does retain the ECW World Championship with the Samoan drop in 13:53. I think I said this as a wild brawl, that's why it did so well. Brody gets a 73-92 for Jacob. And yeah, Brody getting a nice singles World Championship opportunity on pay-per-view and killing it, really. And as is usual with two big babyface meatheads after they've beaten the fuck out of each other, Brody King offers a handshake after Jacob Fatu. Jacob goes to accept the handshake when the lights go out. And they come back on. And Aleister Black is in the ring. And he stares across. He stands in the middle of both Jacob and Brody. And Jacob's like, what the hell you doing out here, huh? He goes towards Aleister Black, and Aleister Black drops him with a black mass. And he drops like a sack of shit. And Brody's like, what the hell you doing, man? What the hell you doing? Okay, this was my night. And then he drops Brody King with a black mass as well. And Aleister Black, he picks up the ECW Championship. And he looks at the camera. And he goes, you all think you know. Well, no more. This time, I'm coming to collect everything. Alone. He drops the belt down. And he leaves. Get a video recap of the end of Raw. CM Punk making his return in Chicago. To the dismay of Seth Rollins. And to the joy of everybody in Chicago. And it is announced that on Monday night, Mr. Phil Brooks will open up the show to address the last 2 months and his plans going forward. 91. Okay. Apparently, there was a lack of psychology on display here, which is fine. I can tolerate that with this match. It still gets a 91 anyways, that's fine. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams of the Nexus, Trick Mello Gang, back together, facing off against Fraxium for the World Tag Team Championships. And, you know, Trick is sort of the odd one out here, because Mello could probably at least somewhat keep up with the other two, but, you know, Trick will obviously be playing the big guy in this match, and he's got to do all those spots. Fraxium get the comebacks in and all that. And, of course, all the Nexus members are banned from ringside. But in the end, you know, Nathan Fraser, he goes up top, he goes to hit the Phoenix Splash. Mello rolls out of the way. Hits that first 48. He goes up top. He hits the nothing but net. And we have new World Tag Team Champions. Trick Mello Gang are the World Tag Team Champions. 86 for Fraser, 91 for Axiom, 78 for Trick, 93 for Mello. So yeah, another tag title change. I did say recently that, you know, I planned on flipping I don't mind flipping these belts around more. It's because I knew this change was coming. For Axiom, they had a calm little run. It wasn't super long, but they defended against, you know, Path of the Dragon, against Dudley and Pete, against the Patriarchy. I think there was somebody else they defended against on TV at some point as well. Yeah, short little run, effective little run, but I wanted to get the belts onto Trick and Mello. Because, yeah. After the match, though, Trick Williams grabs the microphone. And he goes, hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, huh? Trick Mellow Gang, back together. Trick Mellow Gang, finally, World Tag Team Champions, together. Carmelo takes the mic and he goes, so lay it all out, Trick. Carmelo Hayes, him, Mr. Money in the Bank, World Heavyweight Champion, Trick Williams. Didn't quite find your success when you left me behind, but hey, that's what friends are for, right? But we are the gold standard, whether it be alone or together. Okay, because all these people were talking about me and Trick like we were forgotten, like we were washed up, like we were finished. At the young age that we are at, we haven't even hit our prime yet. So when Sean called us in, we knew we'd have to be a part of this, because we knew not only are we going to take over, but it's going to get Trick Mellow Gang back in the spotlight. And he goes, hey Mellow, they fought Bannon Over and Bannon Bronson and Ethan. All of them would stop us. But we don't need their help. Tonight, we prove that we are one of one. You could put any tag team in this ring against us, we'll knock their ass out. You could put any two guys that you pull off the roster in here with us, we'll knock their ass out. Because we are Trick Mellow Gang and we are goated. I mean, that's all it is. And all it's ever gonna be. Bang, nice promo from the new World Tag Team Champions, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Hype video. Women's World title is on the line. Big EO going on in the middle of the show. We don't like seeing her here, but, things have to be done. The other two members of the Big Three are main eventing, so it's fine. But yes, EO Nova, they've had a beef thing going on since the first SmackDown after WrestleMania, when Nova walked down and stole the belt. And it all comes to a head tonight, after Nova, was an accomplice to attempted kidnapping of EO. Crazy work. That sounds crazy for those of you who only watch the pay-per-views. But yes, Nova and EO, one-on-one Women's World Championship on the line. 91 again. Okay, so what the fuck was the issue here? Okay. Because our lack of psychology, apparently. Because Nova scores a 99 and EO scores a 100, and they've got great chemistry. So, I didn't plan on running this back. I planned on moving on to a different feud for EO after this. But maybe somewhere down the line we can run this again, because that is wrestling rating 100. Holy fuck. But yes, EO does win. Goes 21 minutes and 5 seconds. EO wins with the moonsault to make defense number 3 of the world title. Nova scores a 99, as I said, EO 100. Bang. But after the match, Kayla Braxton gets into the ring. She says, ladies and gentlemen, IYO SKY. Just IYO, another successful championship defense for you here tonight at Bad Blood. How are you feeling after that big win? And she's like, I feel great. Bring on whoever is next. And then Kayla goes, well, actually, that's actually what I wanted to speak to you about. Because next Saturday is Worlds Collide. And with WWE returning to Japan for that show, they're going to want IYO SKY, the Women's World Champion, a part of the show. So you will defend the Women's World Championship on that night against somebody who sent you a very special message. It's a message from Mayu Iwatani. She's like, hello, IYO-chan. It is finally happening, Finally, doors have been opened. History has been made. The impossible has been made possible. IYO, it's been a long time. See you at Worlds Collide. And IYO, cuts back to her. She's smiling. She's happy to see her old friend again. IYO and Mayu for the Women's World Championship. Worlds Collide next weekend. Then see Kofi. He's getting ready for his world title match when Big E sees. He goes, Kof, I haven't seen you all night, man. Good luck out there. And they sort of dap up. And Kofi goes, E, think about this, okay? I'm going to bring that championship back here, and the first thing I'm going to do is run into your arms and celebrate with it. Because as much as it may make sense, I hate that I can't have you out there tonight. And he goes, what do you mean? We're ready to go, Kofi. Kofi goes, no, Woods said it's better to leave you back here. And Kofi walks off, and E's like, what the fuck? Why did Woods say that? 91. Everything's popping off on this show. Holy shit. 91 is like the best. This is a lot better than last year's Bad Blood. I'll say that much. Sami and Kofi. This is a very strange match to lay out in my head. Like, a babyface versus babyface match is obviously, not that hard. But Kofi will need to be positioned in a way where he's like the babyface on the come up, which is also Sami Zayn's role. So, I guess they can just cheer. They can cheer both men, but as the match goes on, they really start leaning Kofi over Sami. And Kofi hits the Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2, Sami Zayn kicks out. And Kofi, he's getting frustrated. And Xavier Woods, he throws his hands up in the air at ringside. He's like, what the fuck? That was Kofi's best move and it couldn't win. And then Woods goes to ringside. He grabs the world title. He goes, Kof! As Kofi's doing the boom, 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 claps, waiting for the next Trouble in Paradise. And he sees the world title slide at his feet. And Kofi sort of looks at him, looks back at Woods. He goes, what the hell are you doing? And Woods goes, finish him. Come on. I'll go distract the ref. You hit him and we'll end this. And then Woods does go over to run over to distract the referee. Kofi has the world title in his hands. He turns around, eats a haluva kick. And 1, 2, 3. Woods couldn't get to the referee in time. Sami Zayn does retain the championship thanks to Xavier Woods' chicanery. Woods is frustrated. He's tearing at his hair at ringside after the match. Sami's celebrating. And Woods immediately gets into the ring and he lays out Sami Zayn from behind. He starts putting the boots to Sami. He picks up the belt, starts smacking smacking Sami on the back with the belt. Picks up a steel chair, starts waylaying on a steel chair. And he hands the chair over to Kofi and goes, take care of him, Kof. You should have won tonight. He's the reason you lost. Okay, he took advantage of you in a vulnerable situation. Finish him. And Kofi has the chair in his hands. He's looking conflicted. He doesn't want to hit Sami. When Buster Gates' music hits and he storms out from the back. He's got a steel chair of his own. He swings it at Kofi. He takes Kofi down. Doesn't care about Kofi's conflicted emotions. He picks up Xavier Woods. He drops him with the Rochambeau. And then Buster picks Sami Zayn up. Picks up the belt, hands Sami the belt, raises his hand, and then goes low on Sami Zayn as well. And Buster picks up Sami. He hits him with a Rochambeau. He hits him with a second, and then a third. And he picks up the belt. He goes, you thought this was over, huh? You thought that would be enough to get me away from here? You want to say that I don't deserve this? I didn't win a boxing battle royal? Nah. I'm destined for this gold. And I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get my real shot. Okay? I'm done you taking advantage of me. I'm world famous. And soon, this championship will be too. Boo. Buster lays out Sami Zayn here tonight. What a bastard. Oh, that was the Buster promo. I forgot I put a different segment in for it. What I just said, he says here. And Kayla really tanked that. Holy shit. 89? Okay. Even though the creative finish was a failure and Tatum isn't super over. I'll take that. But yeah, Tatum, Flaxi, and Florence, Women's World Championship on ECW. Tatum did pin Florence in the 6-man tag 3 weeks ago. And she's been getting the upper hand on Florence every time recently. Hams and Shotzi are out there, just being nuisances. Grabbing at Florence's leg from outside the ring and, just, being little rats, basically. And eventually Shotzi She gets up on the apron. Florence smacks her off. Tatum Paxley sneaks out from behind, hits the psycho trap. 1, 2, kick out. And Tatum's getting frustrated. She starts smacking the mat. She goes to hit a second one.
This is what you tell the
Rhea Ripley's music hits. And Rhea storms out from the back. Shotzi rushes onto the ramp to try and meet Rhea. Rhea just headbutts Shotzi in the face. She goes to storm into the ring. Hams jumps off the apron onto Rhea's back. And starts gnawing at her head and starts punching her head. And Rhea, the scene is she's got Hams on her back and Hams trying to scratch and claw at her head. And she charges and slams her back through the barricade. So she rams her through the barricade with her on her back, which gets her off. And Rhea then stands up, she screams. Tatum's looking shocked, no, go away, go away. Turns around, rain flow. 1, 2, 3. Florence retains the ECW Women's Championship. 76 for Tatum Paxley, 96 for Florence. And Rhea is here, she's back. We haven't seen her since she lost to Tatum at Heatwave. But her and Florence stand tall, fending off the outcasts here tonight. Chad Gable LA Knight promo. LA Knight won his contendership a couple of weeks ago, very early on. This was the first match we had confirmed. And now he gets the chance to finally become world champion once again. Can he defeat Master Gable and take the championship? 93, another fucking failure of a creative finish. Jesus Christ. Wow, this show would be even better if these finishes fucking worked like they were supposed to. But yeah, Chad Gable, LA Knight goes 20 minutes. I don't really have an awful lot to say. It's a world championship match on a pay-per-view between the former world champion and the current world champion. And Chad Gable ekes out the win with, some sort of chicanery to make defense number 2 of the world title. 95 for Gable, 87 for LA Knight. And Chad Gable, he leaves, he goes to the back, and LA Knight, he's looking defeated in the ring, he can't believe it, but there's one man who I said would be here that we haven't seen yet. And Logan Paul gets into the ring and he rocks LA Knight with a big punch of the jaw. He goes down, and Logan Paul's losing his mind. He goes at ringside, he picks up a bottle of Prime, he swigs a bottle of Prime. He grabs 2 more bottles of Prime, he pours them on LA Knight, so LA Knight's down and sticky in the ring. And then Logan Paul pulls out a piece of paper out of his pocket. And he sort of straightens out and he just lays it on the floor and he goes, "Have a look at that when you wake up, LA. Things between you and I, they ain't over just yet." And he sort of pats him on the head and leaves. But yeah, I know Twitter in this timeline is so annoyed. What the fuck? Logan Paul again. Yes. Speaking of, after that, we cut backstage and Chad Gable has the title over his shoulder, he's straps her down, he's, cooling off after his match. And he goes, "What was that, huh? What was that? People thought Chad Gable, despite being WWE champion, was being overlooked. Look here, I don't need anybody else. I don't need the help of Logan Paul to beat LA Knight. I only needed me, myself, and I to walk out of the main event of WrestleMania with this WWE Championship. Throw every single person you can. CM Punk, he was the great taker down of this damn company. Nobody could stop him. I could. Seth Rollins, he was the self-anointed hero coming to avenge the entire company. Take CM Punk down. He couldn't stop him. I could. Cody Rhodes, QB1. I beat him. I'm noticing a trend here. Every single one of your heroes, your favorite wrestler, cannot beat Chad Gable. And yet I have the nerve to see people saying that my reign as WWE champion feels lesser than. I have people saying that my reign as WWE champion, well, quite frankly, isn't being focused on enough. That's because I operate in the shadows. If all the eyes of the world are on me, then I've got a target on my back as big as my body can carry. But this championship isn't going anywhere. So why would I voluntarily have as many arrows aimed at my back as I can when I can have as few as possible and let these people eat each other alive with this Nexus stuff while Chad Gable carries the torch? Because they're not going to look at CM Punk or Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes while they're fighting with NXT rookies as the flagship. Netflix aren't going to like that. Netflix are going to like an Olympian. A handsome stud of a man like me holding this championship up high. So bring your best. And I'll do what I always do. Win. No matter where you put me. Hi video. Law here. Needs no introduction. How many of these video packages have we seen now? Involving any combination of these two and EO. But yes, this one's different. This one is for all the marbles. This one is for Hell in a Cell. The first Hell in a Cell match in 18 months. Funnily enough, I've completely forgotten, didn't put two and two together until now. The last time we did a Hell in a Cell match was at Armageddon in 2023 with that 6-way women's Hell in a Cell match. Both of these two are in that, so yeah. But obviously it was them, Io, Utami, Asuka, and Bianca, I believe, yeah. But tonight, it's just the two of them. It's not for a championship, it's just personal. One of the most personal grudge matches the women's division certainly has ever seen. Comes to a head next. But first, we have a local Cleveland celebrity in the front row. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Johnny Gargano. He's in the front row here in Cleveland, in his hometown, with his young son Quill on his lap, as they're about to watch Candice and Dakota inside Hell in a Cell. Huh. Not exactly where I would bring a child, but you do you, big man. 91, again, this is the show of 91s, apparently. I knew this wasn't going to be as good as the Mania match, because this one had to go longer, because, you know, it's Hell in a Cell. But yes. This is, again, loser leaves SmackDown as well, I forgot to mention. That was confirmed on Friday. Dakota and Candice, you know, they start off all guns blazing, they immediately start with a brawl, you know, throwing at each other. You know, kendo sticks come out, steel chairs come out, all sorts of stuff. You know, there is blood. We are gonna let them both bleed in this because it was a Hell in a Cell. Obviously, we could let them bleed. Yeah, and at some point, Candice LeRae goes under the ring. And she pulls out a little box. And she picks up the box. And she, like, pours it out on the floor. And it's a broken glass. From one of the framed photos of her, Candice, Dakota, and Tegan. From the house invasion that Candice destroyed. You know, the first one at Dakota's. And, you know, she tries to, like, throw Dakota into the glass, but eventually she counters it and she sends Candice into the glass to a big pop. And then there's bracelet law, probably, as well. I realise the uncanny similarities to Punk and Drew, with that there's also bracelet law involved here, but there is, so, yeah. You know. Whichever bracelet isn't broken at this point. I think it's Candice's, because she ripped Dakota's off at a Fastlane, yeah. Of Roadblock. So yeah, that gets involved. That gets shoved down someone's throat. Probably Candice's, because Dakota got it last time. But in the end, an important other piece of law in this rivalry between these two is a cinder block. And Candice pulls it out from under the ring. The crowd immediately is like, oh, fuck off. Like, don't you fucking dare. She gets into the ring with the cinder block. And she, like, puts it on the floor. She goes to suplex or DDT or something, Dakota onto it, but she counters it. And then the cinder block is just sat there, doing nothing for a bit. And then they continue fighting. And in the end, Dakota, she charges into the corner. She goes to kick Candice. Candice ducks out of the way. And Candice takes a kendo stick to Dakota's bad knee that she's injured. I think she only had the one ACL injury, the one in NXT in this universe. But still, yeah, her historically torn knee starts wailing on it, like probably rips a knee pad off and like starts attacking the exposed knee or whatever. And in the end, Candice stands tall over Dakota. Dakota's like clawing to her feet. She's like clawing up Candice with her bloody body. And Candice sort of looks down with her bloody face as well. She just shakes her head. She spits in Dakota's face. She like rams her head onto the cinder block. And then, the crowd's going crazy as she pulls Dakota's arms up. She hits that wicked stepsister stomp onto the cinder block in the ring. And even the crowd's like, oh, fuck. Like, you can hear a hushed silence all over the crowd. And then eventually she does just roll Dakota over. 1, 2, 3. Candice wins. Dakota Kai is off SmackDown. For the first time in the entire history of this save, by the way. Because she came up to SmackDown in 2020. And then never left since. But more importantly than that, at least for now, this is over. And Candice wins. She's a bloody mess. And she goes out of the ring. She goes to ringside. She goes to meet Johnny at ringside. She hugs Johnny. Johnny hops over the barricade. And then Candice takes a hold of Quill. This is the shot. She walks up the ramp, stares her baby boy directly in the eyes. And Candice stares at her son, and her son bursts into tears at the sight of his bloody, monstrous mother grinning wickedly back at him. And Johnny takes the baby back again. He walks to the back. Candice sort of like stops and ponders for a second. And she turns back to the ring. She just gives a smile. And she walks away, or we follow her to the back. That's how the show ends. 91 rated show, yep, appropriate rating. This show's favourite match rating was a 91. Yes. What matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'll see you on the other side for let's see if they say anything interesting in this media scrum. So we kick off the media scrum with a question about IWRG, which is a random lucha company that doesn't have a head booker. I'm only interested. It's an interesting opportunity, but I'm very happy in WWE. Thank you very much. People are calling Bad Blood 2025 a success. What's your view on the show? I thought it was very good. If I'm allowed an opinion on my own work for a second. It was a combination of blowing off this arc of my biggest story, setting up a lot of exciting stuff for the future, and also delivering good, fun matches. So I'm very happy with it, to be honest. Conor Hayes and Trick Williams have won the World Tag Team titles, so they're going to be getting a lot of spotlight. Yeah, they're in the top heel faction. They're in the top storyline on Raw. What are your thoughts on Tony Khan, the owner of AEW? I mean, he's cool. I'm sure he's a good person. Do I want to start beef, though? I think I want to start beef. I think I want to start beef with Tony Khan. Yeah, let's go. Let's light this candle, huh? Let's throw some spark into this. It's known that Jimmy Uso and Naomi I keep meaning to fix this. I don't want them to be divorced. I will fix that. I'll go into the editor and make them married again. John Cena and Wade Barrett don't like each other. I'll talk it out, yeah. Okay, they hate each other even more now. My relationship with John Cena. Yes, let's go, GOAT! My GOAT loves me. That's all I care about. Oh, Wade Barrett also loves me. Okay. The media comes over. Okay, sure. See you next time for Raw. And it is technically the go-home show for Worlds Collide. We'll have the entire card for that show announced tomorrow night. Or it's Monday night, even. See you then.